Close that up.
You guys ready?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, look, we're happy with the win. We're not happy with the production across the board. We got to coach better. That's the bottom line. And tonight we didn't coach well enough. We got out-coached in a lot of areas. Hats off to Coach Cumbie and his staff at La Tech. They did a great job tonight. You got to run the football. We didn't run the football effectively tonight, and it made it difficult for us. We didn't make great decisions. So, players got to make plays. Coaches got to coach better. You can tell by my voice I'm not happy with the performance, but it's a win. So you always have to, measure this by, the outcome in this instance was what we wanted. It's certainly not the way we wanted to get there. So we got a lot of work to do. And we'll get back to work on Monday and work to get better. So with that, we'll open up the questions.
Brian, how much is Raylan going down?
It's 5 guys on the O-line. I mean, putting it on Braylon is really minimizing the work that the other 4 guys are doing and the tight ends. We weren't good enough tonight in our schemes and executing the schemes that we needed to. Would we like to have Braylon in there? Sure, but we could easily have been as effective with a young man and DJ Chester, who started 13 games for us last year.
Coach, do you have injury updates on Braylon and Tradus Green?
Yeah, one's an ankle, one's a knee. We'll get MRIs for both those guys tomorrow, and then we'll know a little bit more.
Questions?
That's it, huh? You guys saw what I saw.
Coach, last week, I'm sorry, I'm right in here in the back. Last week, the post-game celebration, everybody's jumping up and down. This week, the guys are walking. I feel it looks like a funeral. I guess that's what you want to see from your players, not excitement after a.
No, I'd rather see them excited and that they played so well. They know what happened out there. We didn't coach well enough and we didn't play well enough tonight, and that's not our standard. And so they're disappointed in that they didn't live up to that standard. They want to do it. They just didn't do it tonight. And so we got to go back and figure out what was in our preparation, what was in our mindset when we took the field for this game that we couldn't live up to that standard. And that's what they're trying to figure out right now. They're trying to figure, look, we knew this. We talked about it. We knew exactly what was going to happen, and it still happened to us. So that's really what you're seeing. And my job is to make it clear that it's not just them. We got to coach better. We got to put our kids in. We got good players. Our good players have got to make plays, no doubt, but we got to put them in a good position as well.
The positives in this game, the defense,
yes.
Barry and Brown.
Yeah, Barry and Brown got the game balled out. Like, that's Barry and Brown, and that's what we expected from him. And I was so happy for him. He had some, and walked through, you could tell that he was ready. And now we got to make sure that gets to everybody, has the same amount of energy and confidence that they can go out there and play like that. And the defense, look, at the end of the day, our defense played pretty darn good. They limited him to how many yards rushing, Mike? You don't have that in the tip of your head? 58. I mean, that's a really good effort on the defensive part. That's a really good effort. We blew a coverage inexplicably. We cut a guy loose. But you're right. The bright spots would be, continue to play really good defense, individual efforts like a Barry and Brown, and I'm sure there's some others out there as well.
Was there a point in the game when you realized this wasn't going to be the intensity, whatever you were expecting?
You know, I don't know that we lacked intensity. It was execution was not very good, and I'm gonna lean on this again. And I'm not just giving you, I'm telling you from my heart. We got to coach better. We got to put our kids in position. We got good players. We got to do better. We got to do better because they're good players. Now they got to go make some plays. We left some plays out there, but this is all us, right? This is coaches and players together. Did not have the kind of performance tonight that we expect from our coaches and players.
Coach, you've mentioned now a few times about the, I guess, for lack of a better word, poor coaching tonight. What were some of those things that were sort of missing from the coaching standpoint then?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think I've made it pretty clear that this game itself is not just about players. Coaches have to get their guys in the right mindset to get them to play at the highest level, to get them to execute the things necessary. And we just fell short of that tonight.
Brian, could you assess Garrett's quarterback play tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's some things that he would wish that he had done better. You know, obviously, you know, making good decisions relative to, you know, whether you can leave the pocket and pick up some yardage. But, you know, that's micro managing the situation. You know, again, he's part of everybody. I don't know that there's one guy that you pull out and say, well, that's the guy. You know, he knows he's got to play better too. I got to coach better. He's got to play better.
Coach, the running game that you talked about, are you not getting the push? Is it just like one of the five that's off sometimes, or what are you seeing?
Add all of those to the list. You know, it's individual mistakes, it's scheme mistakes, it's not seeing the right hole. It was, like I said, from a running game standpoint, a lack of execution by players and coaches alike. And so there's not just one thing. I mean, I got to watch the film, but I can tell you just by watching the game itself, you know, a 3-3 stack is difficult. It's the first time we went against it. Okay, fine. At halftime, we saw enough for 3-3. Let's get going. And so that's players and coaches not getting it done to the way they should.
Did you plan on Xavion being such a big part of your rushing game this year, or is that just a new
Tonight
wrinkle?
he was featured a little bit more. And again, I'll go back to what we were trying to do is, you know, we're trying to get the ball outside. I mean, it's a loaded box. It's a 3-3 box. There's a lot of movement in front in that box, and you're trying to get the ball out on the perimeter. So, you know, you're looking at tonight, in particular, a night where you would feature him in that situation.
Coach over here, right here. Talk about the timing of just Garrett with a lot of new receivers transfer, guys like Barron you talked about, Nick, guys like that trying to work some of that timing down in the passing game.
I mean, I thought Nick made a great catch on the Okie route early on in the game. You know, we could have had a better ball here or there. Look, I think I'm not concerned about the timing of the receivers. I just want to make sure that we're better coaching them and we're better executing on their end.
Brian, I guess from an in-game adjustment standpoint, how difficult is it for the offensive line to make those adjustments against the defense that you maybe don't necessarily practice against a lot and have to try to figure those things out as the game's going?
Yeah, so, I mean, did we prepare them well enough? That's what the question that we'll have to ask. You know, did we give them enough looks? Did we give them the movement necessary? Did we do the things necessary? My sense is standing here in front of you that we didn't. But I got to look at the film. You got to give me a chance to go back and look at it and analyze it and find out, you know, why we had the struggles that we did. And I'll get a better answer for you when we see you on Monday.
Time for two more.
On the brighter side of things, kind of talk about Wes Week's impact tonight and last week and just his growth as a player.
Yeah, I mean, he's a really good player. He's smart. You know, he's accountable. He's a really good leader. You know, I think it's pretty well known how we feel about him, or he wouldn't be starting for us.
Last one, Colin. Brian, is this sentiment because you feel like the ceiling's very high for this team and you expect more out of them?
Of course. Of course. I mean, if I didn't think we had the players, you know, I'd be in here giving you the Coach Kelly spin, you know? I'd give you everything that I could come up with about how great we are. We got better players on this roster, and we got to coach them better, and they got to execute too. I mean, this is all in on everybody. This isn't just our coaches stink or our players stink. This is everybody collectively did not live up to the standard that we have set here, and you can only do that when you believe that you have more, and we have more, and that didn't show up tonight, and that's disappointing. Now, I need to get over it. I need to get ready for Florida, because they're going to come in, after what happened this past weekend, and they are going to play their absolute best football. But I told our guys that. They know that. So we'll get back to work on this on Monday. Thank you.